Hi everyone and welcome to the Honest Perfume Reviewer. I'm really happy about my 100th video, my last video, where I showed you my entire collection of full bottles, or like original bottles, and I had so many viewings in a very few number of days. But then afterward, and I was really happy about that, and I felt validated and everything. And then I just thought, this isn't my full collection, because I do consider my decants and my samples very much a part of my collection as well. So I just thought maybe I would show you them as well, for those of you who are interested. And basically, I don't have more samples. I'll start off with the samples than what fits in this little bowl. It's because I don't like to collect shoe boxes of samples and I just feel kind of this stress about I should be going through all these things. So I never really. I have like a sample set or two, like the Penhaligon's ones. I still have those. I'll probably pass them on or swap them with someone soon, but there are separate videos on them, and I consider myself sort of ready with them. I probably will actually finish a sample or two from those sets, but basically these are the Cartiers I think I talked about recently. I kind of went back to these after first deciding. This is 3 from the Oud collection, Oud and Santal, Oud and Ambre, and Oud and Menthe. And I decided that they are not worth the price, because they are we're talking $400 or even over that for 75 ml. And one of you guys actually that follows my channel said that I haven't given maybe their take on Oud enough of a chance, and that Mathilde Laurent, who has created these, is actually super gifted and has done an incredible job on these. So I decided to go back and revisit them. So I had passed them on to one of my my best perfume buddies, and I asked for if I could have them back for a while, because we just kind of circulate between us things, and if she wants them back, she can have them back. So I decided to give them another try, and I did, and maybe I still go back one more time, but I still think that these. I mean, the Oud and Mint, I think, is a little bit, the combination is a little odd, I think, but unique. If you guys are interested in a unique take on Oud, maybe go to that one. I love these samples, though. I think they're really beautiful. And the Oud and Santal is actually really creamy and really nice. And the Oud and Ambre, I wore that just the other day. It's also really nice. And it's kind of but I find with both of these that I find them a little bit bassy, there's only bass notes. And I think that I'd like something. I kind of caught myself wanting to add something, something brighter to match this. Yeah, there are a lot of people in the house today. Well, those are my 3 Cartiers. I don't think, or I can already now say, I will not be going full bottle on any of those. Okay, and so I have here, there's Memoir from Amouage, which I do have a bunch of. I'm going to come to the decants later, but these are the original stuff that I still have. Love Memoir. I think it's a beautiful, kind of typical Amouage fragrance. I have a vintage version that I've compared with, and they're actually quite similar. And I have 2 from Xerjoff that I find beautiful. They're definitely full bottle worthy, but the price is so high that I wouldn't pay full retail. And one of them is the famous Al-Khatt, which many people find kind of have a fecal kind of quality to it. And it does remind me a little bit of Alien, but a more refined version. And I do get a little bit of that animalic skankiness in the opening, but it does kind of, when it dries down, it is just pure beauty. Love this one, but it is expensive. But not quite as expensive as this one. This is Ceylon, and this is kind of another Oud. I think this is like a honey Oud. I haven't worn this in a long time. I've kind of been saving that little amount, but that is so expensive. I don't even want to I don't want to sniff it too much. I don't want to fall in love with it, because it's I think it's $500 for 50 ml or something like that, and it's really hard to find a decant of it, because no one is selling it. So anyway, I have a few more things here. Oud for Greatness, just this little amount has lasted me a year and a half. It's just so potent, so I don't ever see myself buying a 90 ml bottle of it, but I really love it. It's from Initio, and I just think it is one of the most beautiful Oud fragrances. I just think it's fantastic. Then I recently picked up these 2 from Mizensir. Well, I had 3, and I gave one away. The one I gave away was Perfect Oud. I thought it was just a little too masculine. I think it had some aromatic quality, maybe it was juniper berry, something like that kind of bothered me, maybe geranium. I just felt like it's a man's fragrance, at least in my opinion. So I gave it to a man. And then I have these two that I really, really like. I could see myself getting full bottle of both of these. One is Poudre d'Or, which is a really nice powdery fragrance with a little bit of like tropical flower in there. I get a little bit of a heliotrope vibe, but I think it's tiara flower in here. Just love that one. I think there might be iris in it as well. And then there's Ambre Magique, which I don't think is so much of an amber. It's like a rosy amber. But it's not amber, kind of like Amber Sultan and like a resinous, heavy oriental amber. This is more like, it's a little bit like a designer fragrance, like a really, really nice designer, yet more refined. And it also has this little salty twist from ambergris. And it just makes me feel so put together, well perfumed. It's such a versatile fragrance. I would always feel so nice in this. And Ambre Magique. This is, for those of you who don't know, I think it is, what's his name? Am I mixing this up with, I think it's Alberto Morella's fragrance. Yeah, fragrance house. And he has a bunch of different fragrances, and I'd really like to explore that entire house, if possible. Oh, and then one more little sample. It's a Lucky Scent sample. It's Accident à la Vanille from Jousset Perfumes. But this vanilla is sickeningly artificial and sweet, and I really don't like it at all. But I know it's big hype, and I just want to give it to someone that is, you know, looking to try it. So I'll probably just give it to someone at our next meetup. My opinion about samples is that they should always be free. I basically don't ever pay for a sample, and I never charge for a sample. So I just believe in, you know, keeping them kind of just rotating through my collection. Oh, I do have actually a few more here. Okay, two from the house of Oriza El Legrand, and one of them, I don't know how it ended up here because I really, really hate it. I think it was left here at the last meetup. It's called Relique d'Amour, and it is, oh God, this fragrance, seriously, it smells like mold. I mean, my friend this is one of her favorite fragrances. She says it smells like like a church and kind of wet stone, and you can imagine like moss is growing on the stone, and then under the moss, a little bit of mold has started to develop, and you can kind of like feel a little hint of incense kind of from the ceremony, and maybe some flowers at a distance. But to me, it smells like, like wet bathing suits that have like dried in a plastic bag in the sun, and then you find them and they're all dry and kind of like they have a special smell. This is it. If you like that smell, get it. Or try to find a sample. But we had a big discussion about this fragrance, Relique d'Amour, at our last meetup, and a lot of people actually like it. I'm just not there yet. I will not be going full bottle. Someone's going to have to take over that sample. And then Reve d'Ossian is from the same house. God, I don't remember if I actually tried this one. I haven't tried this one yet. This is an easier take on incense. This is actually not bad. This is actually really good. Reve d'Ossian from Oriza El Legrand. Okay, those were all my samples. Then I have, okay, I'm going to move a little closer here. I have my decants, and the way I've organized them is kind of like, I have all my ambers here. I have all my, they're kind of falling all over the place. These are my kind of like my easy grabs or summer fragrances in this little thing that is kind of like, the holes are too big really to hold these in a good way. And then I have my biggest one. Now things are going to fall probably too. I love this little stand. These are kind of like all my best decants. But that's all I have. So I've got about like slightly under 50 decants. I have about 10, 12, maybe 15 samples. And that's kind of my whole collection basically. Plus, the ones that I showed you the other day, my full bottles. But this is it. They're kind of like, it's a nice size, I think. So, and my rule is to always go through, if I have a decant and I really like it, I force myself to go through the decant before I buy full bottle. And that has saved me a bunch of money, because by the time I reach the end of the decant, I'm usually ready to move on to something else. And there's usually something else that has kind of like been puffed up on my wish list. Okay, so this is the decant that I just used up. It's called Woman in Gold, and it's by Kilian. Which has incredible performance, and it's one of those fragrances that I loved at first sniff. And I really love it. I think it's beautiful, but it's almost too perfect to go full bottle. Also, it's very, very expensive. It's such a beautiful take on vanilla, and it has a really nice base. It's a little bit spicy. It's like a white floral vanilla. And the projection is really nice. The longevity is great for this type of fragrance, but it's just like, I know this fragrance now, so I don't think I need it. Oh, there was one sample left. Shangri-La from Here I'm Green. I talked about it the other day. I haven't yet given that a proper wearing, but those were all the samples. Okay, so Woman in Gold is no longer in there because I finished it and I will not be buying a full bottle. I just don't think it's worth the price. Okay, so the decants I have here. Tubereuse Neu means naked tuberose from Tom Ford. I don't know what I think about this fragrance. It's kind of a, I don't know if I'll be loving it or hating it. I kind of feel kind of a love-hate kind of feeling towards this. It's kind of a really, really, really kind of a sharp tuberose, especially in the opening, but it has some interesting notes in the base. I haven't really started wearing it. I've only worn it once, full wearing, and I did kind of enjoy it. I just don't think that it's the best tuberose out there. I can't see myself paying that kind of price. And then I have one called Gendarme. It's an Eau de Cologne, and my friend gave this to me because she, I really like a man's cologne from Gravel, which is an old Eau de Cologne from the 1950s, kind of like one of the first kind of perfumes that came out for men in the States. This one is, and she said that one kind of smells like a sweaty armpit. At least she thinks so. And she says, I have something better that's almost exactly the same, yet without that, that skin-like quality or sweaty kind of quality. And it's called this Gendarme. But this one, I was wearing it the other night on the couch, and my son said when he walked in, is there someone visiting? Is there somebody here? Because he recognized that there was a smell in the air that he didn't recognize, and he thought it was like someone older. And I just didn't like that response, and I don't know. And then I have another problem with decants. This particular decant has started to smell like fish, like the top. And this is a problem. This is something that turns me off about decants. And it only happens with certain fragrances, but I find it more so with light cologne type fragrances, like with citrus, and that are a little bit more airy, and a little bit more seldom with heavy ambers and things like that. So sometimes it's safe to buy decants, and sometimes it has that fishy quality after a while. But thank goodness it doesn't stay on the skin. Usually that fishiness evaporates quite quickly, but I really don't like that. And I think it's that cheap, Chinese plastic, because even when I go full bottle and there's a plastic top, I've never experienced that it smells fishy. So it's something with these low quality decants, I think. So I'd like to really look into what decants to buy next time to make sure that they're better. I think these seem like a pretty good kind, those. I don't know. I haven't yet experienced a fishy one of that model. And then I have this decant. It says Merry Christmas on here in Swedish, God Jul, but it is actually Moschino by Moschino. And it is kind of an ambery, not amber in the kind of way like amber sultan, not an oriental heavy resinous amber, but it's like a floral, slightly powdery, but it has some ambery base notes. I'm sure it has vanilla in here, maybe labdanum, benzoin, that type of thing. But it's a really, really easy grab. It's Moschino by Moschino. And the bottle has like a 3-colored ribbon with the colors from the Italian flag. Really nice fragrance, actually. Someone sent this to me for Christmas, kind of like a surprise, and wanted me to make a video in our local group and kind of review it without knowing what it was. So that was kind of a fun thing. Okay, and then I have from Serge Lutens, I have this one that I've just acquired. It's called Dans le Bleu qui Pétille, and it's basically, it can be described as a church in the sea. It's marine notes mixed with kind of stone-like notes, little incense, like a churchy incense, kind of mixed with these it's just really, really beautiful. And I don't have a lot of fragrances that are kind of marine type of, I have some tropical ones, but not like marine. This is so much nicer to my nose than Squid from Zoologist, because that one is too milky and creamy, I think, and vanillic. This is just more, it's really, really nice. I'm looking forward to wearing it in the summer. Okay, and then I have, this is my only Jo Malone decant, and the only reason I have it, it's called Cardamom and Mimosa, is that it really reminds me of my grandfather, and I made a special video just about this because the minute I smelled it, it took me to him. And he's no longer alive, but he was a really well put together man with like perfect white hair. He always had his shoes polished, nicely ironed shirt. And this kind of smells like, I think, the detergent, like the washing detergent that my grandmother used to use for their clothes, maybe like Northern California florals, and a little bit of a hint of the aftershave that he had. I think he used the green original Ralph Lauren. I don't know quite the name of it, but it smells so much like him, this fragrance, Cardamom and Mimosa by Jo Malone. And my mom agrees, and so does my brother, so it's not just me. I just don't wear it. Like, Mimosa is just not my kind of thing, really. I mean, I don't hate Mimosa, but like, it's not my cup of tea. Then I have Chameleon from Zoologist. I'm saving these little tiny drops here that I have left for summer. It's a beautiful kind of dry, exotic fruits and floral fragrance. It's weird because it has these exotic fruits, but it's still not like girly and overly sweet. It's kind of a subdued kind of exotic fruit smell. It's really hard to describe. It has a little bit of a dustiness on top of that fruity tropical stuff. It is maybe it's a little bit powdery or something like that. Chameleon, it's called. Maybe that's the name. Like it has these different kind of sides to it. It's an interesting fragrance. My friend has this. It's really beautiful on her as well. That's a fragrance that I really could consider a full bottle of. I think it's super easy to wear. Yeah, I really like it, and I find it quite unique as well. Then I have Nishane Tuberoza. This one I just got this kind of recently, and I haven't worn it so much because I do find it more of a summer fragrance. It's kind of a green-leaning tuberose, kind of in there with carnal flower and maybe like moon bloom from here in green, maybe a little bit. And it also reminds me a little bit of beige from Chanel. It's kind of like a what do they call them? Like hot house, like a flower shop. It's so floral in a kind of a watery kind of way. It's like a kind of wet, like a botanical garden, maybe like inside when they're like, there's irrigation. It's kind of like damp in there. It's really, really pretty. Looking forward to wearing that. I haven't worn it a whole lot though. Oh, and then I have this. It's called Pegaso from Etro. I used to have a bottle, but I realized I didn't wear it that much. It's kind of a really nice citrusy, slightly woody fragrance. Actually, it's pretty woody. It has a lot of cedar wood. I think it leans a little masculine. I used to wear it like kind of like a morning fragrance. I decided to keep a few milliliter, and then I think I gave the bottle away to somebody. It's beautiful. If you want to look for a fragrance from Etro, I think they're really good. You can find super good deals online. I paid full price in like a super expensive boutique, and I felt like really stupid afterwards because I had basically paid twice the amount that I would have had to pay. So don't make that mistake. Then I have here, let's see what I've got here. Ben Delirious from État Libre d'Orange. It's a discontinued fragrance. Kind of an iris and leather fragrance. Really nice, but I'm not going to get too attached to it since it's discontinued. Città di Kyoto is an iris fragrance with lots of other interesting notes. It's a little bit medicinal. It's from Santa Maria Novella, which is one of the oldest perfume houses in the world. I think maybe it is the oldest one. It used to be, or it was from the beginning, it was run by monks. It was more of a pharmaceutical kind of company. And then they used to, make with oils and make fragrances to kind of like, to be used kind of in a medical kind of way. I'm a little bit off it right now, but when I first got this, I loved it so much. But they have some really good musk fragrances. I think you should check this house out. It's real good value for money. I think this is more of a summertime scent. It's really kind of refreshing. And then I have White Musk from Aluminum. Not a fan. I think I'll be... It's a citrusy rose. It's overly rosy to my nose. Don't love it. I think I will be passing that on. Oh, and then I have Violet Musk. I wore this yesterday from Ajmal. A lot of Americans say Ajmal. In Swedish, we would say Aymal. I don't know. It's probably, it's Arabic. I don't know how the proper pronunciation would be. It comes in a beautiful kind of heavy white porcelain bottle. Look, very luxurious. The fragrance itself is kind of like, it stays pretty close to the skin. To me, it smells kind of like it's like a violet-y iris musk kind of powdery scent, kind of a white scent, I guess. And it has lily of the valley, and it has some tropical flower, I think ylang ylang. So it does remind me like a slightly of Poudre d'Or from Mizensir that I just spoke about, like I have a sample of. So I'd like to compare them side by side. I think that one is a little bit sweeter, and this one is a little bit dustier. I mean, I wouldn't go full bottle of this. This is not unique enough, I think, to me. Violet musk, but I'll definitely keep it and go through it for sure. Okay, so that was all of them. Those are kind of my easy reaches. Then I have my ambers. I love ambers. But sometimes I wonder if I can really distinguish them from each other. And I have kind of like, I've got some full bottles of ambers. And I have all of these. I don't think I need another amber. Yet I always get stuck on ambers. And I love like Ambre Aurea from Parfums Roma. But it is kind of similar to other things. And probably don't need it. But I'll just go through them quickly. I have from Andy Tower, LDDM, that's L'air du Desert, the Moroccan desert, basically it translates from French. It's a nice, spicy, I made a comparison video between this and African Leather from Memo, like last summer, I think it was. It's a really, really nice, kind of dry, spicy, woody fragrance with some resins in the base. I think it leans a little bit masculine. I mean, I think fragrance basically is unisex, but I just put this in the amber basket. I kind of looked at it differently first. It's Musk Ravageur, but I think for sure this is an amber. I love this fragrance. This is a 10 out of 10. No question about it. I definitely want full bottle, but I have to use this up first. I can't go full, but unless I find like a ridiculously low price somewhere or secondhand or something or a swap opportunity, not full retail until I finish this. It's just a beautiful kind of little tiny bit gourmand. I get kind of a little bit of a syrupy sweet quality. It's resinous and it has a little bit of animalic notes in there too, making it really interesting. I really love this. Very vanillic. It's perfectly unisex. Oh God, I love this. Musk Ravageur, 10 out of 10. Love it. Ambercello from L'Orchestre Parfum. This one I haven't worn all that much. I'm just going to remind myself a little bit what it smells like. I don't know. Since I have so many, this one they're kind of all a little bit similar. I should do some more comparison videos so I can really like learn to distinguish ambers from each other. And then I have Material from Amouage, and Material is a nice resinous vanillic amber with the smoky kind of quality. Created by Cecile Sorokian, or she at least was involved. This is super easy to use. I love this. I could wear this like a lot. I could see myself going full bottle of this, but it is not super unique. There are lots of other fragrances that kind of remind me of this. So it's like a kind of good basic amber, but it also has like an incensey kind of quality. That's Material from Amouage. Then I also have Velvet Amber Sun from Dolce & Gabbana's exclusive line. This is just a beautiful amber. I think this reminds a little bit of Ambre Aurea from Parfums Roma. It's just kind of a perfect amber. These are a little bit hard to find. I don't know where you actually buy them. I know this guy who basically has everything, so I can get like anything from him. So I got that from him. I love that, but I don't know if I would buy that because I have others. This one is called 5 Canto. It's like a Roman 5. V Canto with a C. I guess it's an Italian house. Mirabile. I find this to be a little bit overly sweet amber. Not quite as refined as maybe the other ambers that I own. This is a good value for money though, this house. I've tried the patchouli one. Cashmere is really good. And this one, I don't know. There's something... Maybe now, since I'm a little bit more into gourmands, I should give this a try again. But I thought it was a little bit too sweet before. But I think I haven't worn it in a while. So I'd maybe go back to Mirabile. Okay, and then I have one called Escapade à Bissons from Olibera. Oh yeah, this is the amber that has kind of a tropical opening. I get a little banana vibe like when I first spray this on, and it's not as refined as some of my other ambers. I definitely won't be buying this, but it's not, the prices aren't so high. I don't know. I haven't like gone through this house. I know a shop that sells these. We have a little shop up north called Fragrance and Art. I think they do ship to some other countries. And they have a great selection of stuff. I really recommend you check out their site, fragranceandart.com. This one, I don't know, it's too fruity for me. This combination of like ambery notes that are already sweet and then adding tropical fruits, I think that's just a little bit too much layered on top of each other. And I think maybe this one, Amberleavable, this one does smell a little bit like fish. Usually ambers don't go that fishy direction, but this one, a little bit too sweet as well, I think. I think there are better ambers than Amberleavable. This is from Astrophil and Stella. Yeah, those are the ambers that I have. There might be a one coming up here that could be considered ambers too. But now I'm getting into my big tray here. Okay, so I'll go through all my sniffs first. These are the ones that I call sniff. They come from this service that sell 8 milliliter vials like this. They have kind of like permission from the houses to do this, to sell them like this, and I think it's a really good idea. They also have like subscriptions, which I don't think is a good idea because I love the actual choosing. I want to choose myself. I don't want to be surprised. I want to do, that's kind of part of the fun. I don't think I've ever bought, I think I have bought on their website like a time or two when they had like a deal, but usually I get them secondhand or I swap them or something. This first one is called Vonninger. It's from Olivier and Company. And this one is kind of a really nice lemony, it's not cakey, it has a little bit of a cold quality, like a eucalyptus kind of vibe, but at the same time it's a little bit cakey, kind of like Ani, same kind of, and Lyra, maybe a little bit like, but it's more refreshing. It has a really nice lemon note in the opening. I think that this one might have changed names, like if you go to Fragrantica and read about it, maybe, I can't remember the fragrance or if it's the house that has changed names. It might, but I think you still can get a hold of it. It's a really nice fragrance. I really like this, but I have had this forever and I haven't used it up. So that says something about like I don't reach for it that much. But when I first smelled it, it was like, boy, wow, this is unique. And it's nice. I have also Santal Austral from Matière Premier, which is a beautiful take on sandalwood. And it has like iris and it has some warm spices like maybe cinnamon. But it also has kind of a carrot seedy or oak moss kind of base. I don't know. I do also have, I forgot to mention this when I did my original bottle, I have this little one too as a backup. So I have these two. I think these are so cute that they have these in the original bottles. And I also have Falcon Leather. I mostly have this for reference because I was going to have like perfume guidance little perfume events, and I wanted to have something leathery that I liked to show other people, but I don't typically use leather so much myself. Okay, so that's Santal Austral. I do recommend that fragrance. I really think it's nice. And then I have Crème de Cuir, which is like a creamy leather from BDK. Haven't worn this so much yet. I really liked it in store, and then I wore it at home, and I thought, I don't know about this, and I haven't quite made up my mind about this fragrance yet. I don't find it very leathery. It's more like a soft suede leather. What else have I got here? Poudre de Cire from Elixir, which is a really nice iris fragrance, like super, super beautiful. I love this fragrance. I've had 2 of these. I've been through one already. And then I have Piano Santal from L'Orchestre Parfum. Which is also kind of in the same ballpark as Santal Austral, but this is more not as oak mossy. It's just different. It's very creamy, beautiful sandalwood. I think this one kind of opened my mind to sandalwood, and that's when I kind of found Lost Alice, and then I don't know, I really, really like this. I see a lot of these little sniffs for sale, so I'll probably get another one of these when I run out of this, but probably won't go full bottle since I have Lost Alice and I can't own every single fragrance in that category. Then I have a few, let's see, I've got a few tenors here. This is Quelques Fleurs Royales from Houbigant, this is a really old Houbigant. It's like with an H and a T at the end. It's a French house from the 1700s. And it's commonly known that this was like Princess Diana's favorite house and that she got married in Quelques Fleurs Original. And this is Royal. So this is basically the same floral bouquet as the original, but they've kind of added white honey and like kind of a whipped cream kind of feeling. It's a little bit creamier than the original. That's a more transparent, a little more aldehydic and soapy-like, or soapy than this. This is really, I mean, I love this. Actually, the reason that I have this decant is that I had the bottle. The top kind of broke. The bottle is really ugly, unfortunately. It looks really old and dated. But I love the fragrance, and I think it's a perfect fragrance for those of you who are like stepping into niche. Really easy to like. It has a bunch of different florals. I really like it. I just kind of got bored with it. That's actually the truth. But the bottle was so hopeless, so I just kind of sprayed up the rest into this little thing. And I've given decants to friends too, because I think it's a real kind of easy to like kind of fragrance. And then I have Oud Bouquet from Maison Lancôme. And I used to love this fragrance so much. And I used to have a bottle of the original formula. And this is kind of an oud and rose. I don't know if it has patchouli as well, but it's more, if I compare it to Oud Satin Mood, it's about as beast mode as that one, but it has more of like praline. No, it leans more gourmand, I think, than that one. But it's super sweet and vanillic, but it lasts forever. I mean, like 4 sprays of this and you're good to go for like 24 hours. I'm not kidding you. It's just so hard to wear it. Like, so I never ever wear it. I mean, I've worn this much in the last 2 years. I wear it like every 10 months, maybe. It's so hard to wear, but it is really nice, especially the dry down. Okay, and then I have like a bunch of Amouages. I've got like 8. I've already talked about a few. And the reason the only bottle I have from Amouage is Overture Woman. I've talked about this a few times. I love these bottles, but if I would buy another one, it would probably be maybe Material or maybe Journey Woman. Yeah, I have, let's see here. I have Journey Woman, just a little tiny bit left. It's a beautiful kind of floral. I don't usually like osmanthus fragrances, but osmanthus is actually quite dominant in this fragrance, but it has lots of florals. It's interesting, it's layered, but it does not have that incensey typical Amouage base. Then I have a little, let's see, it's just a sample here. It's called Reckless Leather, or Opus 7. And it's a really, it's like a leather, really green leather. It's almost grassy green leather and patchouli fragrance. And I can't really, I don't know, I can't think of an occasion where it would really be, I want to hold on to this though. I find it really interesting to put it on, but I don't know, I'd never like choose, like this is my fragrance of the night going to an event. No way, it's too difficult kind of. Then I have Royal Tobacco. This is today's fragrance. I'm actually wearing this, or I put it on early this morning. It is such an interesting fragrance. There's so many layers. It's so much to discover in here. It opens up with like a really licoricey kind of opening, mixed with some sweet notes like of myrrh, and then comes like the birch tar. It's really smoky. Like after 15 minutes, it gets really smoky. But it's not tobacco-like. It's more like leather, like birch tar kind of accord. And then in the long dry down, more florals come through. And I love the dry down. But I also love the opening because it's something completely new. It's really, really nice. It's super strong in the beginning, but I don't find it like it. I put on like 5-6 sprays, like what was it, 9 o'clock this morning? It's like 6 hours ago. And it's still there, but it's not like as beast mode as like, I'm going to get to that soon, interlude man or anything. It's not that strong at all, but it's really, really powerful though, I'll have to say. It is. Okay. Ubar, which is kind of an old, a little bit more traditional type fragrance like that was popular when Chanel No. 5 was popular. It's like a super, this also has its layers, but it has that kind of, like overly floral, a little bit aldehydic, soapy, but has kind of an interesting oriental kind of ambery incensey base. This is a big fragrance. Like this, I wouldn't wear this just any old time. Like when I would want to feel super sophisticated, I would wear Ubar. I hated this when I tried this for the first time like 2 years ago, but now my nose is kind of like caught up with this kind of fragrance, and now I think it's really interesting and really, really beautiful. I find it super feminine, Ubar. But I know a guy that thinks that's his favorite Amouage right there. So, you know, these things with feminine and masculine, it's all, you know, up to you guys, of course. Then I have Memoir. I just spoke about that. That's also a really nice kind of classic floral Amouage with an incensey base. Love that as well. It just feels like I could always grab that. It smells incredible. And then there's Meander. This is from the Man collection that kind of reminds me of like Lost Alice. It's a creamy sandalwood kind of fragrance. But I also get Fig from this, although it's not listed. It's a little bit floral. It's a little bit woody. It's in a green, quite ugly bottle, to be honest, and that really puts me off. That helps me. That helps me stay away from full bottle. It really does. It really does. I think I'll just get another decant, and then I'll maybe spend my money on a beautiful bottle instead. So it does make a difference to me a little bit. But this is so beautiful. I really, really like this. Meander. Then I have Enclave from Amouage. I haven't worn that so much. This has the note of spicy mint, which I thought was kind of interesting because it's not, you don't see that a lot in fragrance. I'm just going to give myself a tiny squirt here. I do find this is Enclave Man, and there is no woman version of this, I don't think. It's pretty masculine, this fragrance. It's a little more aromatic leaning. I don't think I'll be wearing so much of Enclave, although I tried it in store, and I've been walking around town sniffing my hand and being like, oh, this is so good, this is so good, but I don't know. You really have to give perfumes a full wearing. Just smelling it on the hand is not the same at all. I want to see, you know, does it give off smell kind of for a longer period of time. Then Reflection Man. This one, it makes me laugh because my friend, she says that this smells like cheaper than Bruno Banani from a Hungarian drugstore. She's from Hungary, by the way. This one is like, it smells like laundry detergent a little bit, but in the best possible way. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But I know people that say that this smells like, first of all, a lot of people think it's pretty feminine, even though it's Reflection Man. And I agree. I do find it a little bit more feminine leaning. It's pretty powdery and floral. But it's really fresh, and it does smell like clean clothes. I'll have to say it does, but I think it's just beautiful. And I don't even know this Bruno Banani thing, but I know what the bottles look like. I just don't have any frame of reference when it comes to like what those smells are like. It's just funny. She's such a funny person, and she finds a way of describing things that it's so like, she's hilarious. Then there's Interlude Man. This fragrance is unwearable. It's just really interesting because it's such a heavy leather. It's like, I thought one time I was going to go out dancing, I thought I would wear this and just kind of like spray something on top. Like this would be the base. I have one spray, and I kind of like made that spray kind of all over me, like a little bit. I kind of distributed around in different spots. And I thought like, then maybe together with I might have put some floral thing on top, or like vanillic or something. And I thought this would be a good base, but it almost ruined my night. It's just so darn heavy. It's just that really strong leather. Interlude Man. It's interesting to have this in my collection of decants, but I would never, ever go full bottle of that. But that is beast mode for sure. Really beast mode. Okay, then I have two from a house called Godet. Godet. I think they're French. One is called Eternité, Eternity. And one is called Empire d'Essence. And none of these have really hit home with me. I think Empire d'Essence is kind of interesting, but it's funny. It's like, it says it has like rose and saffron and patchouli, I think, or something like that, but it's so different from anything in that category that I've smelled before. To me, this smells like candy. But in kind of maybe it's growing on me. I have to go back to this one. I was like, oh, what is this? You know, I don't know. I'm not a kind of a candy, fruity. I'm talking about like multicolored hard candies, that kind of thing. With some sweetness from florals, maybe. I can't quite get the notes that are listed. and this one, I think that's interesting. When I can't, then I have to kind of work on that one a little more. And Eternity has this one has notes of plum, and I'm just not. No, this one's not doing it for me. I think I'm gonna have to pass those on. Okay, and then I have one from Maria Candida Gentil, and it's called Exultat. It's one of their best sellers. I think this is a really nice house to explore. It's good value for money. I have two 15 milliliter bottles already in my collection that I prefer to this one. So I actually ended up swapping that bottle, I think, and I kept these 2 milliliter for myself just to kind of, you know, have it. It's kind of a really fresh incense fragrance, like fresh and peppery. I find incense is often combined with like black pepper or some kind of pepper. I mean, I like this. This is sometimes compared to Epic Woman, but Epic Woman is a much bigger, heavier fragrance. This is more of kind of a light fragrance. I mean, I like it. I think maybe I'll try it again in the summer. Okay, so that was that. And then I have just a little tiny squirt of a real cheapie, and it's called Tendre Madeleine. Tender Madeleine from Le Senteur Gourmand. I guess they make only gourmand fragrances, and it's really cakey. It's kind of a Lyra type of fragrance. And it doesn't last that long, but it is really, really good. It's like a really good gourmand cake fragrance. If you want something, if you're on a budget looking for a nice gourmand, definitely look into this. I don't know how cheap it is, but I think it's definitely a cheapie. I really enjoyed going through this little 3 milliliter, I think it is, decant. Then I have Café Cabanel. Really nice from Tio Cabanel. It's a nice coffee fragrance, but it's not all about coffee. There are other things going on in there. It's definitely gourmand. Not as much coffee as Coffee Addict from this Greek house. It's called Theodore something K. I don't know the exact name of the house. Coffee Addict. It basically smells just like, it smells like a coffee with all these like syrups that they add to these fancy coffee drinks. It's really sweet, like a really sweetened coffee. It smells a little bit like Irish coffee. And when we're talking about that, I have another one too. It's called Carpe Cafe from Gallagher Fragrances, which is a little bit similar, a little bit more boozy maybe than this one. And those, I don't wear them that much. I just like to get them out and sniff on them. Then I have here Black 2 from Widian, Widian, Widian. I think it's from the United Arab Emirates house. This smells like a really good designer. Not interesting to me, but I will use it up. I do like it. Then I have Rose d'Arabi that I got when it was so popular with Rose Oud Patchouli fragrances. I got kind of bored with this one. And I have Oud Satin Mood, which I've never gotten bored with. I would never buy this. I really liked it at the time, but then I just have this little, I haven't worn this in such a long time. It smells a little bit like wine, like there's a little bit of sourness to it. And I think that's the rose, like when they've gone a little bit too far on the rose, it gives me that kind of a vibe. Then I have 2 decants of Ani from Nishane. And the reason I haven't gone full bottle of Ani, although I love it, is that I really don't wear it that much. Plus the price. It's too high. So I think I swapped. I'm running out of this one. It's almost empty, so I decided to swap and get myself another one. I'm very happy about those. I would buy a bottle if I saw it discounted, probably. Or if I had the chance maybe to swap or something. I found it secondhand, I might get a bottle. Then I have these 2 fragrances with the interesting combination of patchouli and cacao. I think these are both super, super beautiful. They're not much spoken about. One is called Blue Cobalto from a Swiss house called Valmont. Very, very expensive, unfortunately. It's my second decant because I know someone who has this perfume. I love this combination. I think it's just so incredibly beautiful. And the other one is from Atelier Materi. It's called Cacao Porcelana. A few people have made reviews on this one. It's so nice. It's weird. The cacao kind of gives it kind of a dusty quality, like powdery, but kind of in a dark kind of way. It's just so hard to describe this fragrance. And I just hit myself. I had the chance to buy a bottle of this for a really good price, but I was on a no buy and I was just so stubborn about it. And I ended up, I'll just wait. And then I hope that she wouldn't sell it. It's kind of one of my close friends in the perfume community. And then And then, you know, she sold it, and I totally understand. I mean, I said sell it because I can't own every good fragrance, but I do kind of, I'm a little bit sad about it because I do love that fragrance, but the performance is not great. But I'd love to try the other things from that house, but it's the only fragrance I've tried. And then I have Opus 1144 from Unum. It was created by Filippo Sorcinelli. And I used to think of this as a incensey kind of, not incensey, but an ambery fragrance. But the more I smell it, I realize it's a powdery heliotrope fragrance. It smells very much like Col de Bahrain, if you're familiar with that, or Suavissima. But it's really, really nice. It's a little bit like another one that I have here called Reve de Cashmere. Let's see, I have it somewhere here. Well, I'll get to that. Reve de Cashmere from Van Cleef & Arpels' private line, or their exclusive line. Those are like 125 ml bottles. I think they're like only accessible maybe at Harrods, maybe at the Dubai airport has that fragrance line or that collection. It reminds me of that Reve de Cashmere as well, Opus 1144. Beautiful fragrance. Then I have Chypre Palatin from I don't know if it's MDCI or MCDI. It's MDCI. And the only reason I have it is I got this first, and then I got an opportunity to swap. So I have full bottle of that. It's a beautiful kind of oriental amber, kind of 90s meets today's kind of fragrance all in one bottle. It's incredible. 10 out of 10. Chypre Palatin, I just love it so much. So now I have one for my bag as well. Then I have a beautiful patchouli fragrance, Psychedelic by Javoy. It's like a super dark kind of chocolatey, almost really, really challenging in the beginning. You have to wait until it kind of dries down, and then it really is incredibly beautiful. I've got Absolute Aphrodisiac from Initio, which is I don't say that often about fragrances, but it is a sexy fragrance. This one is like, it has chocolate, vanilla, ginger, but also kind of an animalic background. I could see myself getting a full bottle of this because I find this to be like so much more wearable than Oud for Greatness, which is kind of really, really heavy. And this is good performance, but it's not like super heavy. Then I have Caban from YSL, which is this is like a tonka, a little bit powdery tonka. I don't think I'd go full bottle of it, but this smells really good on. I'll enjoy the rest of that. Rouge Smoking from BDK. It's my only cherry fragrance. And I really like this one. Although it does have, it gives me a little bit of an artificial vibe. Like there's a little bit of plasticiness in here for some reason. I think that, artificial cherry is like, it reminds me a little bit of like the American candy I used to eat when I was little, like when we'd go to the States. I'm half American, by the way, but I grew up in Sweden, but I've been, to California a lot growing up. And there's a lot of like artificial type candy there, according to me anyway. Okay, and then I have a really good violet. I don't have a lot of violets in my collection, but this is a really, really good powdery fragrance from Nicolas Daberry, I think is the name of the house, and it's called L'Impératrice Sissi. Like it's the inspiration comes from an empress from Hungary, I think, and her name was Sissi, Sissi. And the first time I sprayed it on, I thought it smelled really, really bad, like the opening. But then when it kind of dried down, I just thought, boy, this is so beautiful, like candied violets, powder. This fragrance is something else. I really, really love it, but I never wear it. For some reason, I just never reach for it, but I really love it. Okay, Carpe Cafe, I told you about that one already. And then I have Ashoka from Nila Vermeer, my second decant of it. It's a beautiful incensey fig fragrance. And I usually don't like fig, but I love this one because this one has so many other interesting notes. The only reason I haven't gone full bottle is the price. It's a really, really expensive house. Let's see. New York Fifth Avenue from Fragrance du Bois. It's also beautiful, kind of a little bit similar to Oud Satin Mood, although it has no oud. It's a little bit more like rose, kind of a little bit, I don't know. I think Oud Satin Mood is better, but this is also good. It's really good. But I wouldn't go full bottle because of the price and because I already own Oud Satin Mood. Okay, the name's gone away from this one, but this is Addictive Vibration from Initio. This one smells like candy. This one gives me compliments. No, this is not that one. This is that one. Let's see. This is Addictive Vibration. They look the same. This is not that one. This is a fragrance that I used to absolutely love. It's from Serge Lutens, and it's Mandarin Mandarin. And I used to go on and on about this fragrance, about how beautiful it was. I used to compare it to Orangea. Like, I thought, I looked at it kind of, it was like refreshing in kind of an orangey kind of way. But now my nose is catching more of the bitter notes in here, which makes it interesting in a way. It's more ambery and bitter than I thought from the beginning. And I find it more of a year-round fragrance now, not so summery. And then I kind of stopped wearing it because it kind of changed in my nose. So this one, I don't know about it. I used to absolutely, it was used to be one of my like top 5, 10 fragrances, but now it comes in a bell jar. I don't know. Mandarin. I don't know. I only have those 2 now from Serge Lutens. The other one was that Church in the Sea fragrance. It's not my favorite house, I think, this Serge Lutens. Maybe it will be in the future. I've been through a lot of their fragrances, though. I've tried a lot. Addictive Vibration is like candy. This is a really easy wear. This one always gives me compliments, but so does Mandarin Mandarin. I've gotten compliments for that as well. Oh, this is turning into a long video, but I'm almost getting to the end now. Okay, I've got a few more. Let's see. This is the one I already mentioned, Reve de Cashmere from Van Cleef & Arpels. It's a beautiful, powdery, heliotrope kind of fragrance. Smells super luxurious and expensive, but I got a little bit bored with it. Like, I would not go full bottle now. Once I've been through this 5 milliliter, that's enough. And now I'm ready to move on. And then this is a beautiful patchouli fragrance. It's called Patchouli Nosy Bay from Paris, Monte Carlo. And Nosy Bay is actually the name of an island. I thought it was Nosy Bee, like, I don't know, like being nosy or something, but it's an island with this name. And this is kind of a really nice, kind of light patchouli fragrance. I love this. I just think this is like, I think this one has a little bit of an ambergris kind of quality too, if I remember right. Oh, it's just like an easy reach. It's kind of fresh. I like that one a lot. I think it's also a very affordable house, Paris Monte Carlo. Okay, and then I have 2 from the house of Acro, and Acro is Olivier Crespe's house, if I remember right. Am I saying this right? I think so, yeah. And I don't know about these fragrances. It is just not my house, I think. I think these 2, I mean, ink is like inspired by a tattoo parlor. It's supposed to smell like ink. I get a lot of leather and like birch tar from this. It's interesting, but I feel like these are like it's kind of just only base notes. Like I have that problem with fragrances that are too basey. Like there's nothing going on in the top. Like it's just kind of really dark, this ink Acro. But if you're like nostalgic about tattoos, maybe this will be something for you to look into. I get a little bit of a like, it's leather, but there's some sweetness in there as well. And then there's dark. So I have just these little decants of these 2. I loved this when I first smelled it from the bottle, but it's like a coffee fragrance, but it's not like too gourmandy. It's not like super sweet or anything, but I don't know. I just think they're too conceptual, maybe. Like they're not a ready perfume. It's just like, I mean, I guess he does his thing and he does it well, but you got to be into that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. And then I have, this one, Elixir Charnel Gourmand Coquin from Guerlain. And this is a really hard to find fragrance, but this is like a chocolatey, gourmand, a hint animalic, super, super beautiful fragrance. But I wouldn't bend over backwards to get a hold of a bottle. It's not that unique and important to me, but like it's really, really pretty. I put this kind of in the same category as Café Cabanel, even though they're not, I don't think this has coffee, but it's just, it's really, really pretty. I mean, I can see why people go wild for this because it is really, really nice, really, really nice. And then I have Rosin de Menthe number 6, which is kind of a slightly floral fragrance with a little bit, I think there might be a hint of something nutty in here, like coconut maybe, or almond, or I'm not quite sure of it. I wouldn't go full bottle of that, but I do really enjoy Rosin de Menthe. I need to get my nose on number 4 as well. I still love my number 7 a lot. I never really did get hooked on 5 like everyone else. I think it's the saffron. Saffron, I mean, I don't mind saffron. I just think that when it's too much, like it dominates the whole fragrance, it's not for me. So it depends on how it's done. I think I've been through everything now. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got. So my fragrance is pretty small. I will never have shoe boxes of samples. As soon as I feel like, okay, I won't wear this, I'll just kind of pass it on. I think it's too stressful to own too much, if you know what I mean. I don't like, and I'm not the kind of person who'll have like a whole, you know, stand and do videos and I have like this big collection behind me. That's just not me. I'm just kind of keeping it simple, keeping it like I'm more like a private person, I guess. Just wanting to share with you my thoughts on perfume and how I like to spend my money. And I think that decants are a great idea, and it's all about sharing. But I have to find some kind of decant that guaranteed does not smell like fish. If you have an idea, if you have some recommendations for me of like a fish-free kind of decant, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. Because, you know, it doesn't say, like, does not smell like fish. I should probably, you know, I should claim them, you know, when I've, if they smell like, but it's only with certain fragrance, only with certain perfumes. So I never know which ones. So yeah, I think I've been through them all now. Those were my decants. Please feel free to comment if you agree with me, if you don't, which ones you have a full bottle of, which ones I might have missed from some of the houses I've mentioned. I love this interaction, and I just thought it was so much fun with all the comments from my previous video, and now I'll be going for my, I'm now in the 100 videos. That's really fun. Okay, guys, that's all for today.